Instead of hooting and hollering, ranting and raving, I'm going to give you some physical, tangible evidence as to why you don't have to always buy the brand of Bohonky.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
A whole snap, crackle, and pop. We are back at it again. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate you stopping by today. You could go anywhere. I love the fact that you're choosing to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. We're available on every single podcasting platform as well as visually on YouTube. You can find me personally on Twitter at AllDayOState. So we're going to jump right into this. I had the wonderful time appearing on the Bleav in Oklahoma State podcast, which you guys will all be seeing today. And in that, one of the things Megan asked me that I thought was very interesting is, how do you come up with content daily? Well, I think most people probably sift through all the different stuff between the Tulsa World and the Daily Oklahoman and the Ocali and Pokes Report, and OrangePower.com, OKState.com. All of these things typically give you a pretty good indication of where to look. And then after you watch all of that and read all that, you go look at some highlight videos, you go look at some clips, you go look at some interviews, you go look at some high school coaches' interviews. And if you can get in touch with those high school coaches, it typically does help. And I say all this to say, earlier today, I decided to listen to the Pokes Report podcast because they had my idol, the legend, Larry Reece. I've made it no secret that is my dream job, is to replace Larry Reece someday. Don't know if it'll ever happen, but it's at least kind of what I'm shooting for. Anywho, the first 5 minutes was him talking about injuries. Now, we've kind of covered this before, but instead of taking like a tangible evidentiary proof angle, I just rant and rave. All right, that's fair. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to break down as to why we need to stop buying this company line. I've told my kids 1,000 times. The sales industry is one of the most important jobs in the world because every single day you are waking up, you're at the very least, you're selling yourself. You have to sell yourself to people every day on the type of person you are. And if you're not selling yourself, you're selling something. But just because somebody's selling something doesn't mean you have to buy it. If it's a bad sales pitch, don't buy it. If it's the same exact sales pitch from X number of people, then maybe you should look beyond the curtain a little bit. All right, so what if I told you coming into the Kansas State game, Kansas State had more players on the injured list than Oklahoma State? What if I were to tell you that TCU dealt with the significant amount of injuries through the entirety of the season? But here's the deal. Do you hear TCU fans or Kansas State fans talking about injuries derailed everything? No, you don't, but let's break it down. As far as TCU is concerned, before Baylor, before Texas, before really the season got underway, game one, week one, their starting quarterback, Chandler Morris, goes down with a knee injury. They have to go to the backup, which ended up being a big deal in Max Duggan. But Max Duggan, again, before Baylor, before Texas, he was already listed as questionable with lower body issues, causing Shane Morris, when he got healthy, to come back and start taking all the first-team reps again. Quentin Johnson, the NFL-level star receiver, he was injured and out in multiple games, in multiple scenarios. Another starting wide receiver, Darius Davis, was out for a time. Tay Barber, another receiver, was out for a time. Caleb Medford, another wide receiver, out for the year. Quincy Brown, another wide receiver, out for the year. Thomas Armstrong, linebacker, gone for the season. LSU transfer linebacker Marcel Brooks, gone for the season. Kendre Miller was banged up and on the injury list before the Texas game. They had to feature Amari DiMarcado, and then a true freshman, Trent Battle, was the number 2s getting all the reps. Plus, you factor in missing a couple offensive linemen. That's the nice little cherry on top of it. That's just TCU. And again, they had this injury bug before Baylor, before Texas. I'm not even talking about the national title or the Michigan game. Kansas State, before the season started, right? We as Oklahoma State fans want to point to how many guys we lost before the season started. I also equally say that we should have not left 12 offensive linemen transfer and then not replace hardly any of them. That didn't help either. But Kansas State, before the season started, they lost their right tackle, Christian Duffy. Daniel Green, the All-American linebacker, he was out in the beginning. Starting defensive tackle Usu Samalo, he was out at the beginning of the season. Wide receiver Iowa transfer Keegan Johnson was pegged as the day one starter. He was out, was going through rehab. He had to miss the first couple weeks. Another wide receiver, Seth Porter, he wasn't able to participate. Star safety Kobe Savage, he was coming off a massive injury. Adrian Martinez gets hurt pretty early. Safety Josh Hayes out before Oklahoma State. Deuce Vaughn injury list before Oklahoma State. Will Howard, who had just taken over for Adrian Martinez, was also on the injury report coming into Oklahoma State. Felix Ndike Uzama, was he going to play before Oklahoma State? Did he get a lot of snaps? DB Josh Hayes, he was out. Khalil Duke, he was out for the first half. We had more guys available than they did. Their injury report coming into the Oklahoma State game was bigger than ours. And what did they do to us? They took us behind the woodshed and beat us into submission like we were standing still and showed up with our pants down prepared. I am fully aware. I was fortunate enough to play this game long enough and coach this game long enough to understand how injuries do derail quite a bit. But we're the only fan base that is still getting fed this, well, without the injuries, last year's perfect. This is what is being sold to all of us because they're not going to tell us exactly what happened. They're not really going to tell us the truth of what was going on inside the locker room. Obviously, a decent amount of it is kind of matriculated out. So why are we still a couple days before the season starts feeding this? Well, it's all because of injuries. And a lot of us want to say that, well, we lost a lot of guys before the season week one. Guys, we started 6-0. And then for Kansas State, guys, hold on. Hold my beer. Let me pull this up. Before Kansas State game, let's see. We had Brock Martin healthy, Preston Wilson healthy, Jason Taylor healthy, Thomas Harper healthy, Corey Black healthy, DeMarco Jones healthy. Like, I mean, I get it. It's way easier to just pin it on this one thing and then tell everybody and their mom associated with Oklahoma State media to make sure that we parrot this same thing. But it's just not, it's not entirely true, guys. It's just not. There was way more stuff that went on that had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with injuries. And some of the injuries we know we didn't handle very well. I kind of get them not admitting all this stuff, okay? I get it. But stop force-feeding bull honky down everybody's throat just to get some of the fan base all riled up and believing this sales pitch. They want you to believe that if you hear it from 8 different people, then it's got to be true. Did we have injuries? Yes. Did we have some fairly significant injuries? Yes. Does every team in the country have injuries? Yes. Do some teams have more injuries than us? Yeah, they did. And then they competed for the Big 12 title. I'm just saying, like, I hate that we get fed some of the stuff. Like, we can just chop it up to, hey, things didn't work out last year. Things needed to be adjusted. We had to change some things. But now that we have, this is the outlook on this coming season. So if anybody listened to the entirety of that podcast, please let me know. I couldn't after 5 minutes of just getting pushed down your throat that everything that transpired last year was all because of injuries. It's not true. All right. I'm sorry. You know I love you. And that's not what I wanted to talk about. But guys, so we're a couple weeks into the season. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that we start being a little bit more realistic, a little bit more genuine. And we don't have to lie to the fan base, right? We can just kind of pull the wool over their eyes, gloss through it, and go on about our business. But we're not doing that. We're still, a couple days before the season starts, we're still trying to shove this thing down your throat. Anywho, maybe we should have a better people speaking to the public. Maybe that would work. And if we do that, maybe we should hire them through LinkedIn Jobs. Guys, LinkedIn is the #1 talent solution in America for you and definitely your small business. we all know that it's a gamble, right? Anytime you're looking to replace somebody in the hiring pool or even to add to your staff. But this is why you need to check out LinkedIn Jobs. It's going to help you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Go there now, create a job post, and then add your job to the purple hashtag hiring frame in your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. We have simple tools like screening questions that make it super easy for you to focus on the right candidates with the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you're going to interview. These are the reasons why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs is going to help you find the qualified candidates that you want faster. Post your job for free today. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Locked On College is one word. Again, that is LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free today. Terms and conditions do, in fact, apply. All right, so we get off that horse, and hopefully we don't have to hear this anymore. But if you do, just know you can take some solace in the fact that this is the line that is being pushed on purpose for you to regurgitate and swallow. And if you choose to do that, that's on you. All right. I can't persuade you otherwise. But I feel like it's better that we call a spade. And we're not doing that. We are not doing that. And we talked for so long, all off season, during the season, coming in about the injuries. Even if it were true, like even if that was the only thing that caused Oklahoma State to go backwards last year, why are we still regurgitating it this far into preparation on the season? That I don't get. Tell you what I do get, though. I do get the need for speed. Nah, that was too easy. I get the need to get pumped up about the kickers and punters. Now, we haven't talked about them a lot because it's not like it's the biggest, sexiest position on the football field. But we've been talking about X factors. We've been talking about things that are going to be directly correlated to our success this season. And I think one of those is going to be the kicking and punting department. We're a little bit light, in my personal opinion, on just simply respecting what they do provide and what they can offer. We got a little bit jealous, or not a little bit jealous, sorry. We got a little bit lucky and spoiled with Tom Hutton. We watched Tom Hutton's development over the years. Pro Kick Australia obviously has a hand in that as well. He became a weapon by the end of his time in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And the reason I say that for this year in particular is because if we're going to have a pretty good defense, clock management's going to be important, especially with some of the new first down rules that are stupid. So pinning somebody deep in their own territory when you have a super athletic defense, I'm definitely not saying we're a bend but don't break style, but there's going to be good enough offenses to test us occasionally. So pushing them back deep is going to be pretty important. And as far as kicking goes, we've been talking about TCU. Well, look what TCU pulled off last season. A lot of people want to talk about how they got lucky here, they got lucky there, and this and that and the other, which might be true. All right. But that game winner where they had to rush out and kick a field goal with, heck, I don't know, just literally a matter of a few seconds left, right? That kicker is part of the reason TCU got where they got. K-State, their kicker won them the Big 12 title game. So where do we stand? Well, Alex Hale, we knew was the guy. Not only was he a scholarship kicker, which isn't exactly, a well-nuanced thing, but he was a scholarship kicker that we went after. He was very highly rated, especially for a kicker, one of the top kickers in the country. Brought him into Oklahoma State, looked very good early, and then he dealt with some injuries. He dealt with some fairly significant injuries that definitely caused him some issues. And as Gundy said, he had to kind of go back to the lab. Like in golf, you got to work on your swing plane. There is no kicking, punting coach. So it's something that you kind of got to hone in on your own. Sure, they have some people that help, right? But they got to figure it out. And then we got blessed with Tanner Brown. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. But it was Alex Hale's job. And then Tanner Brown was a serviceable backup. And then Tanner Brown took off, got better. And Alex Hale still kind of suffered through figuring his stroke out there for a while. If Alex Hale is fully healthy and he's mentally, there's a key there, if he's mentally dialed in and ready to rock and roll, he's gonna win us a game or two. He's gonna at least put us in the right positions. And as far as punter goes, y'all know I love my boy Hudson Cock, but guys, West Falls is 6'5", 240-pound punter with collegiate experience. Western Kentucky may not be the creme de la creme when it comes to football, but they're pretty good. And what he offers us is giving Hudson Cock a decent amount of time to get prepared. Right? They do offer completely different things to some degree. Hudson's far more athletic. He can roll right and punt, roll left and punt. But Wes has a big leg. So if the big leg can help us in field position, and our defense is as good as I think it'll be, and our running game is able to control the line of scrimmage and yards per carry, the kickers and punters then, in fact, do become an asset. They do become a weapon. And, guys, we all know Logan Ward's got a big leg. He'll be handling kickoffs. He'll also be handling the 60-yarders. So if there's a 60-yard field goal, we won't see Alex Hale. It'll be Logan Ward. How is he on the accuracy? It's a little hit and miss, obviously, or he'd be the full-time guy. But it's going to be interesting to see this 2 years of basically private lessons for Alex Hale is going to kick in this year. Because when you got a good defense, you got a good running game, that's when the kicking game becomes more important. If you can drop 70 points on a any week basis, then your kicking game isn't all that important, right? Let's just face it. I mean, heck, there's teams in high school that do not punt. They do not kick field goals. They go for it 85, 90% of the time. I don't think that's a model that should be adopted anytime soon. But nonetheless, if you have a high-flying, crazy offense, the necessity for punters and kickers are a little lessened. But if you're more of a meticulous style of team that gets, the little things right and dinks and dunks and makes you respect the run game, put more people in the box, then your kickers and your punters do definitely become far more important. Guys, I'm beyond excited for what Hudson Cock is going to be able to give us eventually. But we're not there yet. And that's okay. Because Westfall is a big dude with a big leg that should pin people back enough to let our defense go to work. I'm more excited about this year than probably every other year. This is what it is. And I really hope that Wes is the leg that we're looking for. I really hope that Alex Hale does, in fact, kind of find that stroke again, because it's pretty big deal this season. Now, as we talked about yesterday, with what we have at tight end and Josiah Johnson and all the weapons we do have at wide receiver, if we can control the clock and control the games, you're going to see us score more points than even I would anticipate. It is what it is. All right, so now let's scooch over here to the schedule for this week, and we'll do some picks here. When it comes to the Big 12, obviously, there's going to be a couple big games. All right, so let's scroll here through Saturday. Well, there's some games tonight. Kent State, UCF, sure. NC State, UConn, NC State. Utah, Florida. Even though they're missing Cam Rising and they're All-American level tight end, I'm going to say that ESPN finds a way to squeak this out. Nebraska, Minnesota. Give me the Fighting Huskers. Missouri, South Dakota. I guess, Mizzou should win that game. Tulsa versus Pine Bluff. Tulsa. North Carolina, A&T, UAB. Who cares? Arizona State, Southern Utah. Who cares? But I'll get the Sun Devils. Friday, Central Michigan, Michigan State. Not much of a game. Miami, Ohio. Miami. Miami will win that. Louisville, Georgia Tech. That's a pretty good one. I'm going to go Louisville. Just because they might be Big 12 brethren someday. KU, Missouri State. Not much of a game. Stanford, Hawaii. Hey, Stanford might have a chance to win one. All right. Go Stanford. All right, Saturday. East Carolina, Michigan. East Carolina will keep pace a little bit. Michigan's going to win. Virginia, Tennessee. If they still had Brennan Armstrong, I might be leaning Virginia here, but they don't. So I'm going to go Tennessee, Colorado, TCU. My heart tells me to pick the upset here. My heart tells me to go with the Buffs. But my head says, don't do that, Cody. They're not going to be prepared game one. So give me TCU, Arkansas State, OU. Probably a little bit more competitive than OU wants it to be, but OU definitely wins. Utah State, Iowa. Iowa could lose that game. Iowa could definitely lose that game. I'm going to say they squeak it out. But that's just because I want to see a matchup with Iowa State a little bit bigger. Bowling Green, Liberty, who cares? Fresno State, Purdue, who cares? Louisiana Tech, SMU, who cares? Northern Illinois, Boston College, who cares? Robert Morris, Air Force, Ole Miss, Mercer, nobody cares. There's some duds. Northern Iowa, Iowa State. Give me the Cyclones, barely. Ohio State, Indiana. I wish Indiana would have been able to hold on to Michael Penix. That would have been cool. But no, Ohio State's too much. Boise State, Washington. Speaking of Michael Penix, I rag on Boise State so much. I give them such a hard time so often. But I'm going to pick them here. I'm going to pick Boise State because I'm just not a big believer in Washington. I like Michael Penix Jr. a lot. Hell, I'd like Jabbar Muhammad a decent amount. But I'm just not a big believer in Washington. I'm definitely not a believer in the Pac-12. I think Boise State makes this interesting. Rice and what's his JT Dagnabbit? Y'all remember his name for me. JT Daniels. Taking on the Horns. The Shorthorns probably take care of business. Not a game. UMass, Auburn. Give me Auburn because they don't have Josiah Johnson. South Florida, Western Kentucky. That'll be a good game. Maybe give me Gary Bohannon. Maybe. That's not a game. Cal, North Texas. Cal's stupid. Go North Texas. What else do we have here? Nevada, USC. Ooh, our old man, Shane Illingworth's going to have an opportunity. You know what? Ooh, should I? Nevada's defense probably can't keep pace, so I'll go USC. I really want to see Shane Illingworth and Nevada get her did, though. That would be cool. Alabama, Washington State, Colorado State. That would be kind of cool. I guess give me Washington State, Texas State, Baylor, UTSA Houston. Ooh, that's a good one. UTSA Houston. I don't want to go against our Big 12 brethren here, but UTSA returns quite a bit. And Jeff Traylor's definitely the most up-and-coming coach in the country, so I have a feeling they'll be prepared. Houston's been going back and forth on the quarterback scenario. Not that that's always a bad thing because we're in the same boat to some degree. Man, I'm going to say Donovan Smith and Houston find a way to get her done, but you're talking super close overtime type of game. Central Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Got to give a number here. So what did I say the other day? 50. I either said 52-14 or 56-14. I can't recall which one I said, but it's going to be one of the, I'll say 52-14, I think is what I said. I might have said 56-14, but whatever. Let's see. What else is on here? Middle Tennessee, Alabama. Nobody cares. Oh, West Virginia, Penn State. West Virginia is going to prove that Penn State is overrated. Yeah, for real. Give me the Mountaineers. South Carolina, North Carolina, give me the Mac Brown O's. I'm not a firm believer in South Carolina. I love Shane Beamer. I could care less what Spencer Rattler does or doesn't do. Texas Tech and Wyoming. Wyoming's actually not bad. That'll be a decent game. Tech will win. South Alabama at Tulane. You know what? I'm going to say South Alabama pulls this off. Give me South Alabama over Tulane. Northern Arizona. Sam Houston, BYU. Decent test, but BYU will get it done. Coastal Carolina, UCLA. You know what? I don't know if Coastal Carolina's got as many weapons as previously. I'd be lying if I said that I did a lot of research in Coastal. So I'll play it safe here and go UCLA. San Diego State, Ohio State, not a game. Sunday games, Northwestern, Rutgers, nobody cares. Oregon State, San Jose State. You know, Sam, Oregon State's defense is probably as porous, if not more porous, than USC. They probably just out-physical them. So I'll give the edge to Oregon State reluctantly. LSU, Florida State, the big game. LSU, Florida State. I'm not a believer in Florida State. Give me LSU. Clemson, Duke, Monday. What are we doing? Clemson, Duke, Monday. Whatever, Clemson. That's ridiculous. What are we doing? Are we doing football Monday? Why are we doing Monday games now? Is this becoming a trend? I don't like it. I don't like it. I do like our matchup. There's some guys that'll give us a test, which we'll break down a little bit more tomorrow. Out of all the games, let's see, this early week, so Thursday, Friday, I think the biggest game for me has got to be Utah. Yeah. Utah, Florida. Hey, Utah's missing some dudes. So most people, I think, are going with the quote-unquote safe pick and picking Florida because they have guys. But I'm gonna go against the grain here. And I'm going to say that our future Big 12 brethren find a way to get her did because their backup quarterback, he's been prepared for this for a few weeks, right? So it's not like he's in a position where he's not prepared. I'd say he's definitely pretty daggone prepared. When you have that amount of time in preparation, I would say by and large, it gives you a pretty good opportunity to be squared away and ready to rock and roll. And their backup quarterback's no slouch, guys. Their backup quarterback, Bryson Barnes, is pretty good. And again, he has almost a full month of first-team preparation for Florida. So at least the scripted plays, if we have the belief in Whittingham that his scripted capabilities are pretty squared away more than Billy Napier, then I think Bryson Barnes gives them a pretty good opportunity. Missing their big-time tight end, that's going to hurt a little bit. But we shall see. Give me Utah by like 3. All right, y'all. That's all we're going to have for this one. Tomorrow, we'll break down a little bit more on the UCA Central Arkansas Purple Bears. All righty. Until then, you know I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. And obviously, thank you for making this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. Greatly appreciate it. We're growing legs here. All right, y'all. Later, taters.